Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen, and today I want to talk about some of the common workarounds, fixes and hot issues with the latest Star Citizen 2.6 build, downloading the game, Star Marine, performance issues, all that sort of jazz. At least signposting you to correct areas or something that might help. Some people are having issues downloading the game via the launcher. Just make sure of a few things and this should help. Make sure you've got the live build selected, not the PTU build. In the cog section, so at the top right, disable peer-to-peer. That can help, and then literally pause and unpause your download. That helps a variety of different times. You can also right-click on your internet connection and literally disable the network interface card itself and then re-enable it. That works in a lot of situations. Also, people have suggested that using a VPN or a virtual private network, such as TunnelBear, to download the game. That works in some situations. If nothing else works, delete the entire game folder and start again. I'm sorry if that's happened to you, but in some situations that is the only way to re-download the game and for it to finish. A lot of the time it will just randomly pause at the very end for some reason. For those of you having frame rate issues in Star Marine and Star Citizen in general, try disabling Crossfire and SLI if you have that. Make sure you've got the latest graphics drivers, obviously, and check out my Star Citizen performance guide with loads of tips and tricks and tweaks and stuff like that to make Star Citizen significantly more playable. In the Persistent universe, so in Crusader, in that large universe sandbox, the frame rates are partly kind of restricted by server and network code and CPU code stuff. So just bear that in mind. There are some stuff that you can do to help alleviate that, but you can only do so much, and you are going to be restricted to a maximum of like 50-60 frames at best in the Persistent universe at the moment. There is a slight delay once you save a loadout for Star Marine or for a ship before they're actually saved onto your account for use. So if you go into Star Marine incredibly quickly after saving a loadout, you're not going to have that loadout that you've just saved, and that's the same with the ships. Wait a few seconds before you load into a game after you've changed a loadout to make sure it's been updated to your account. Guns not firing in the first-person shooter module. So in Star Marine, sometimes your gun will not fire. It is pretty damn annoying. If you hold R, though, you will holster that current weapon, and then if you bring it back out by pressing 1, 2, or 3 on the keyboard, then it should now fix that. Now, I've had to spawn a lot of the time and fire one shot every time I spawn to make sure my gun is firing, or putting my gun away and bring it back out straight away when I spawn to make sure that it works. Disconnections and some crashes. In a lot of situations, deleting your user folder, and I'll talk more about this in a second, seems to fix a lot of problems with disconnections and weapon loadouts not being saved. Some people have reported deleting and re-downloading the whole game fixes the 10,002 whatever bug and some other disconnection errors as well. In fact, deleting your user folder is a very common fix for a lot of issues, including keybinds not working, weapons not being attached to ships and items not appearing in your hangar, not being able to connect to some sessions, as well as a multitude of other problems. They can be fixed by what seems by deleting your user folder in Cloud Imperium Games /Star Citizen /public, and then the user folder there. Though it's not a cure-all, it does seem to be a try this in the case of most fixes and issues. In Star Marine and Arena Commander, in the lobbies now, you can invite and add friends there from the top of the screen. Now, in some situations, 2 players will appear with the same name. If that happens to you, you will have to leave the lobby and come back in and recreate the session, basically. Also, if your friend is not getting invites from you when you try to invite them, the suggested thing to do is to both quickly relog so that you should be able to get those invites again. Though most people have just suggested just your friend relogs. In the options menu, you will find a lot of useful stuff if you don't already know, including controls options. You can set your sensitivities here. You select what device you want to select the sensitivities for, and then for me, for example, we'll go to the mouse. On foot, I change my sensitivity so it's a bit lower, and then in relative mode, when I'm flying my ship, I actually have that higher. So you can set various sensitivities there. I find that the default sensitivities were quite high, and I had to change DPI on my mouse and stuff as well. You can also look at the key bindings by clicking on key binders and change them all by clicking on advanced control customization, and then you get a huge breakdown of all the different controls. It is worth taking a few minutes to customize these at some point, whether you're on a mouse and keyboard or if you're on a HOTAS. And for those of you interested on what weapon you should pick, Magalos has a great website, starcitizendb.com, where you can look at all of the current like components and weapons and ships and all that sort of stuff, including all of the new missiles. So you can go to weapons and missile and see all the new missiles and actually see their individual stats, which is really pretty damn useful, especially if you go into the weapons section and click on weapons. You can see all of the different mountable weapons and filter them by size or whatever, and work out exactly what you want to put on your ship. Speed is effectively where they all line up on pips. It's how fast they travel per second, how many meters or whatever, but it is more useful for working out what weapons to pair with. So similar speed weapons will have similar pips, meaning that when you're aiming, you'll be hitting like there. And if they had drastically different speeds, then the pips would be in totally different locations, and it would be hard to fire those simultaneously, those weapons. CIG's customer service are still working over Christmas, but they're more down to a skeleton crew, so just be aware of that. If you've got a pressing issue, you can email them still. Also, there's a host of useful information on robertspaceindustries.com on the help section there as well. I will link that at the bottom. It's got all of their FAQs as well as the latest updates to some issues that may be presenting as well. So please check that out. If you guys are after information about the Lumberyard engine, which Star Citizen is now on, it's more of an upgrade to their current engine with a lot more features and a bit more network backbone, lots of scalability. I've done a video on that as well. If you are after quick start guides or learning the controls quickly, got some guides on that as well. Again, I'll link everything like that in the description below. Check out my channel for all that sort of jazz as well. Every month we do a giveaway for a ship. Throughout December, that has been for an 85X or an Avenger Titan with lifetime insurance. The winner gets to decide which. All you've got to do is comment on any of our Star Citizen content during that month. At the end of the month, in January, beginning of January, throughout January, we'll also be giving away an Avenger Titan as well. So just keep that in mind. Just comment on any of our Star Citizen stuff. Please don't forget to like and subscribe as well, because it genuinely does help me. I hope you guys have a great new year, a great start to 2017, and I will see you in the verse.